That's Hammer from Angela Easterling here on WNCW. She's got a trio live in Studio B, and that song is the lead-off tune from the new release from her Common Law Wife, and a video out.
That's right. We have we have a video out that was actually filmed at the farm. And Curtis Hanvey did that for us, and it's really cool to have that to share with people because I get to talk a lot about my farm when I'm traveling around, but a lot of people don't get to see it. So it kind of gives you it's a beautiful, beautiful film.
Yeah, it really is. It's nicely done.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the land that inspired that tune in particular,
Right.
and I guess your work in general. And yeah, I really like some of the imagery in that song. What was the line you had? This land is a mirror of our heart. Right?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I guess I was thinking about how the way we use the land sort of reflects our values. And so that's kind of what inspired that particular line, like whether we treat it with respect or whether we just use it, for what it can do for us.
And that song Hammer, you finished that on the day that you heard of Pete Seeger's passing, huh?
That's correct. Yeah, I had started writing it, as I said previously, about my grandfather. We actually live in a house that he built. And I tell people that I can't really sit around on the couch and watch Netflix all day when I live in a house that someone who I knew worked so hard day in and day out for 90 years.
Why not? He worked so hard. It's all done.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the legacy that he left, and I was also really inspired by Pete Seeger. I looked up to him a lot, as for his music and his life. And so when I was reading their remembrances of him on the day that he died, I realized that there was a similar legacy of someone who was always out there working and striving for the things that he believed in. So this sort of the second verse of the song is kind of inspired by Pete Seeger, as well as the whole Hammer theme.
Yeah, I was going to say you already had the hammer motif going, huh?
Yeah, well, that kind of came from him too.
Okay.
Yeah, because he always talked about what he'd do if he had a hammer. So
yeah, exactly.
I sang about having one.
Yeah,
He'd hammer all day long.
Yeah, and he did.
Well, it's an interesting kind of synchronicity then that you kind of finished that up on the day of learning of Pete Seeger's big passing. That was a big day.
Yeah, it was.
Big, sad day.
Yeah.
Did your grandfather? He was a World War II vet, I think.
That's right. Yeah, he was in World War II in France.
Did he listen to Pete Seeger or inspire any kind of music in your family?
He probably did. I don't come from a terribly musical family, although I do remember my grandpa when I used to go visit him at the farm. We would eat lunch and then he'd pull out a harmonica and he'd sit there and play it and stomp his leg, real loud. And he liked to sing, and my grandmother liked to sing, but we don't have a lot of music. My parents aren't terribly musical, so all the music that I found growing up, I kind of made my way to somehow on my own.
Okay, so not a terribly musical family. Closer to a musically terrible family? No,
maybe.
No.
Yeah. Actually, you're probably right about that. No offense, Mom and Dad.
Well, sometimes I think about my mother and her. She was a little, what's the word, tone deaf? You know? And it's like, hey, but you got to try, right?
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yeah. When this is my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family is a little bit more musical, although not my dad himself. Sorry, Dad. I know he's listening.
All right.
But
yeah,
he does have some musical family members.
Well, but either way, whether or not they had the talent or whatever their tastes were, your upbringing created fertile ground for you to become a musician, to make this decision to, do this kind of full time.
Definitely. It was definitely the sort of the way I was raised, the music that I heard growing up, the bluegrass music and the gospel music in church and those kinds of things that influenced me. And I think it's just something that was kind of there in my blood. It was just always there. And I grew up doing plays, and I thought I wanted to go to New York and be on Broadway. And then I got a guitar and started writing songs, and people said, "You write country songs?" And I said, "What? I've never even listened to country music. What are you talking about?" But then I started listening to, Emmylou Harris and Johnny Cash and Hank Williams and the Carter Family and Loretta Lynn. And I was like, yeah, this is good. This is a good path for me.
Yeah, you found your sound.
Right.
Through them.